Alright, it is part 2 of this whole weird little trilogy thing you want to say of just killing game antagonists switching places. Today we're going to talk about if rich boy Byakuya was in Goodbye Despair instead of Nagito. Because Kokichi took his spot in Trigger Happy Havoc, it's time for him to take Nagito's spot. And next video is Nagito just taking Kokichi's spot. Kind of wrapping up the trilogy there. So, yeah, today we're going to do this video, and I plan to do the next video for next week. And, yeah. And then I probably will see if I can maybe squeeze in another video for next week, another request in particular. But at the moment, where I'm currently at, yeah, I think I'm just kind of getting everything I can at the moment done. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope this video is good. Also, thank you to Tengen for requesting the video. So, let's start off with the first change, Chapter 1. So, first question would be, who would Togami be / Ultimate Imposter? Now, this is weird, but because Byakuya was now here, who would Ultimate Imposter be? Who would he be? 2 Byakuyas? Probably not, though it could be some kind of funny moments. I don't really think that's the route they would go with. And instead, I think they'd go with the Makoto route. And that also has to do with the fact that since Nagito is not Goodbye Despair in this world, it makes sense to have Makoto be there instead as the Ultimate Imposter. And realistically, Makoto doing the stuff Togami did honestly seemed very in character for Makoto. And the first change is the fact that since the rival is Byakuya and not Nagito, that means that Byakuya does not mastermind. That means there's going to be no party because Byakuya isn't like Nagito, where he would do something like that. Well, you could argue he may try that. I doubt he would be willing to kill, unless he would be trying to cause like some kind of drama. I just don't think he'd try to cause any parties. And I also would like to see his interactions with Fuyuhiko. But Teruteru would kill, and it'd probably be something similar to how the Nagito video went. By Nagito video, I mean the one where he's the blackened for Chapter 1. That being, Teruteru would probably get killed by Peko because he would attempt to kill Fuyuhiko. That's the route I would see most likely happening. Unless Makoto, Imposter Makoto, prevents it. But then again, I doubt that. I think it wouldn't happen because we basically already have 2 Byakuyas. Basically just a more vulgar midget version of Byakuya, which is Fuyuhiko, so yeah, that's kind of it. This would probably change a lot, and Fuyuhiko's character arc comes a lot earlier because of all this. So, how does Chapter 2 change? Well, the motive would probably be the same, but since Fuyuhiko is a nice guy, the question would be, would he still try to go after Mahiru? And since there's no Peko, he would probably be the culprit, because there's no Peko, meaning Fuyuhiko kills Mahiru, and that's kind of it. On one hand, I do see what could happen, but on the other hand, since he changed to be more of a nice guy, I don't think Fuyuhiko would kill. It's debatable, unless Byakuya tries to do something to cause a death, which, at that point, he may? I don't know, it doesn't seem so out of character for Byakuya to do something like that. Imposter Makoto would probably stop it, though. With how Imposter is trying to stop the killing game, at that point, I feel like there'd be no death in Chapter 2. So Peko and Teruteru are the only deaths. Now, out of spite because Makoto Imposter ruined the killing game, like Chapter 2, Monokuma decides to give him the Despair Disease, like out of complete utter spite, because that seems like a very Monokuma thing to do. And would probably give him some kind of disease, like probably the Liar's Disease, or probably just switch him and Akane's diseases around. Akane has the Liar's Disease, and Imposter Makoto. Or if you can think of something funny, like some kind of funny nickname that I'd like to hear, like Tukoto, Yeah, too cringy. You can think of a comment name. But back to the video. Makoto would probably have the coward's disease instead, because a coward would want to avoid getting involved in the killing game, and an ultimate imposter was not the coward. So yeah, that would work. Mikan still kills Ibuki, and I think Mahiro would die in Hyoko's place. Kind of, like how that whole thing was. Kind of like how I did in my other videos, where Mahiro makes it past alive longer in a chapter. Fuyuhiko would be more involved in this chapter, which could be very interesting to say the least. But minus from that, I don't really see much changing here. Now, chapter 4, how does Makoto like Fat Makoto view the entire series? And I'm not really going in depth with Byakuya. I didn't really go in depth with what he would do in chapter 3. Personally, he wouldn't do much, minus from be helpful with the trials. But trial 4, would Byakuya enter in the Russian roulette room? Debatable. I think it seems more unlikely he just manipulates someone to do it, which seems more in character. It seems very unlikely someone like Byakuya were to do that. And Nagito, while you could argue was a terrible human being, he at least, in some psychotic way, was selfless. At the fact that he wanted to make people happy, I don't think Byakuya is not selfless. He wouldn't throw his own life away for the others. Nagito was okay with something like that. He'd probably been okay with dying in the Russian roulette room for the others. It just seemed like his character. Byakuya is very selfish and would probably not care about the others' safety. So yeah, that would be a real change. When it comes to other things, like in that chapter, who would die? I think fake Fat Makoto may just do a death, like just take his own life in the spot, like similar to Sakura did. But at the same time, I could probably see Gundam still killing Nekomaru. That is a possibility. Maybe Byakuya decides to manipulate someone who's gullible, which I don't think Byakuya would. That's debatable, but at the same time, I just don't see Byakuya doing it. Because if that was the case, he probably would have actually manipulated someone to kill. If he was more of a villain than Celeste, he would probably have manipulated Toko or someone else to kill. That seems very character for Byakuya. But, yeah. When it comes to the chapter 4, someone else may have to go in the chamber room, which I think Byakuya could just probably manipulate someone like Akane or Kazuichi to do it. It seems in his character to do something very messed up like that. And he may even get one of his classmates killed because of that. And if he does get Akane or Kazuichi killed, it wouldn't really change the story. Minus from make Byakuya more unlikable, even though it probably make him at least feel more realistic. Because realistically, you probably would rather sacrifice someone else than yourself in something like this. But yeah, that's the only change I could see coming out of this. Now here, I think this would be another chapter 5 becomes chapter 6 thing. I just don't really think Byakuya would be willing to kill if the traitor was around. I don't think nobody was really caring about it at that point. Unless you want Fat Makoto Imposter to be like Nagito, there's really nothing that could go on here. I guess you could probably just shoehorn some kind of moment where someone goes insane and needs to kill Chiaki. I don't know. There's the guaranteed survivors if this is the case are Hajime, Sonia, Fuyuhiko, Byakuya, Fake Fat Makoto, Hyoko, and Chiaki. And maybe Akane or Kazuichi, depending if like either both of them or one of them in case if someone does die in the Russian roulette room, because maybe Byakuya manipulates one of them to go in there. Which I think having one of them die because that one makes sense because because like Nagito's luck, I don't know. You could argue that Gundam survived that, but like then again, also realistically, Fat Makoto could just be replaced by Nekomaru and Gundam. I don't know. The survivors will be different in this. All I know is the guaranteed survivors would be Makoto, not Makoto, but Hajime, Sonya, Fuyuhiko, Byakuya, and Chiaki, and then maybe other characters. It may be either Akane or Sonya. One of those two would also be there. Akane or Soda. I said Sonya on accident. But then again, it would make sense for Byakuya to manipulate her. The more I think about it, yeah, I think two of them. So yeah, anyone could probably die from that. And also either Fat Makoto or Gundam and Nekomaru. And that's kind of where it would end. Another kind of short video, but who cares? Next video is going to be another Danganronpa What If, so yeah, stay tuned for that. And don't worry, JoJo videos are going to be out. I know you all like my JoJo vids. I like them too. So let me get this last Danganronpa video out, and I'll try to get a JoJo video out ASAP. Goodbye.